Hello. Welcome to All Things Ayahuasca. My name is Anna Papadakis, and on this podcast, I'm exploring the depths of plant medicine with Michael Garon. Michael has over a decade of experience working with the master plants, and today, Michael and I are discussing creating an intention. Hi, Michael.
Hey guys, how you going?
Can you tell us about why intention matters?
So maybe if we can walk back a little bit and get a greater sense of perspective, and we have a look at the whole concept of journeying and working with master plants. We know that when we are going through the journey with grandmother ayahuasca or any other psychoactive plants, we're actually shifting ourselves and crossing the so-called veil of consciousness, and we're tapping into the unseen world, the subconscious world, where, you know, it's what we know that what we think we know is, 0.0000000000001% of existence, our, so-called perceived reality, the drop in the oceans of everything and everything. And so when you just expose yourself to the other side, to the subconscious reality, when the veil is suddenly become thinner and our persona is engaging with that, we need to have a couple of anchors and things into place that will help us not to get lost and go somewhere that is unrecognized and uncontrolled or unaware of. So intention is quite a powerful tool to do so. One of the ways that I like to, one of the metaphors that I like to do is like, we can take a kite and we can just release it into the air, and it's just going to flow all the way into the direction that the winds wants to blow. But the moment that we hold it firm into the ground and we have an intention, right? And, we're holding it, we're connected to the ground, and we can control the kite in a way, and we can go wherever the thread is holding us to. And so that's the intention. Intention holding us to a specific direction that is not scattered, and it's fairly focused and well connected to what we want to do.
Yeah, I love that metaphor. I think that's a really beautiful metaphor. I haven't heard you say that before. I haven't heard that before. So I love that. So, what our intention is, what do I want from this experience?
Well, we need to have a bit of a moment of contemplation, less thinking, rather contemplating. And it's about observing our life and noticing what is the most, the things that at the moment is the things that is bothering the most, that I can see clearly, that I know that I need to shift within my life. So we're starting with a certain layer. We're not going to jump all the way into the deepest parts of ourselves. We want to start with whatever present for me right now in my life that I know that I need to deal with. Something come up in my relations, in my work, with my colleagues, with my parents, whatever that may be. We want to have a look at the first thing that is available for me. And then we need to put, we want to try and summarize it and bring it into a compressed, summarized intention of what that may be.
I remember how I came to my first ceremony and how I witnessed people coming to their first ceremony. They have like a shopping list,
Yeah.
and I think about it like it's like your adult Santa list. Like I want this and I want that and I want I want like to lose weight and I want to make money and I want to know my purpose and I want to, kind of these sort of be this wish list of
Yeah.
kind of wants, maybe demands. and they're kind of topics that maybe you think you want.
Yeah.
And then there's when you talk about being contemplative of life, it's like, what's keeping me up at night? Like, what am I waking up worrying about? And that can be real detail. Those little details I found have been really amazing when I've gone into this is what I'm really concerned about. I'm concerned about this argument I had with my sister. I'm thinking about it all the time. And my intention is to please help me with my sister.
There's a couple of threads, right? One thread is people saying, I wish to experience whatever the medicine wants to show me, for example. That's a classic one. And that's the path for spiritual bypassing. And, when people don't really put any frame into anything, and I'm just available for whatever that may be. And then it's like what I said earlier, it just let's just release that kite to whatever present. There's no direction, there's no substance there. So let's pause with that and try to compress that to something that is more available for me right now. We can start with one thing. We don't have to go through the whole list of everything and the most amazing things. That can be okay too. But the main thing with the grandmother, she wants, she often say that over and over again. And, in my relationship with her over the years, it's like a friendship relationship. She always wants us to walk this earth in a better way. It's in the small things, it's in the small details, it's in the small moments of happiness that's make you more mindful for how you are, how you express yourself, your ability to sense, the little minute interactions with people, how you are able to, just let go when you're observing that there is internal reactions within yourself. So we starting with gentle things. No one taught us at school how to put a reflection in front of yourself. No one taught us that. So we need to learn to feel how we are expressing ourselves. There is a way for that expression. That's a big thing, What is behind my expression? There's a lot of internal whys, if that makes sense, behind what I'm expressing. It's a big thing because there's a need behind. There's many times we have a need and that need is not being met. And then we're expressing from that need. But the moment we are realizing that we have that need and we have a reflection for how I'm expressing myself towards another person, everything is changing and I'm getting greater sense of clarity of my everyday life expression. And it's another step towards what we describe the awakening process, where we have a broader sense of realization about who we are, what does it mean to be a human, walking this earth in an aligned way, when we're a bit more attuned to listen, to observe, rather than be reactive, to speak up. First thing we have to share our opinions straight away. It's really important to share our opinions. It's another big layer. Why do we need to share that opinion? What is the need behind that? It's a big thing. It's a big issue at the moment. If we're looking at the world right now, it's very out there, like that, in your face. That's one layer.
Are you saying that part of what happens is you're shown what's behind your, what's behind your intentions or what's behind your behavior?
There is a need behind that is need to be expressed, or there is a pain that needs to be expressed or need to be acknowledged. And many times we don't want to recognize that part within ourselves. But the moment we are recognizing the unseen, unmet need that we're unaware of, which is in the unconscious reality of ourselves, it creates us to behave in a certain way, which is really simple, really. The moment that we're realizing that we have that need internally, we're talking about our needs as humans, what it is that we are need to be heard, need to be seen, need to be acknowledged, need to be respected. Basic human needs in order for us to live in harmony. So our intention There is a why behind the intention. There is a why. Why do I wish to change in my life? Why? So we need to contemplate and see how we are expressing ourselves. This is one layer. How I'm expressing myself. What do I do in a different way that will help me to express myself in a better way? For example, so if I keep, for example, I keep bouncing into walls and I keep self-sabotaging in my life. I just keep self-sabotaging. And always things goes to, it doesn't work. I'm trying to do something, it doesn't work. There is something behind, there's a need behind it that keep sabotaging my actions. It could be an interactions with people. It can be an interaction with business. So every time I'm trying to do a business, the business doesn't work because I'm self-sabotaging, or my need behind the interactive space with my business partner would sabotage that relationship. Does that make sense?
So if you're having trouble that kind of repeats, like patterns in business that you're calling self-sabotage, where you keep trying to make things happen and it always goes wrong in some way, then how would that be an intention?
Can you please help me, dear grandmother Ayahuasca? Can you please help me see how I am destroying relationship? Can you please show me? Can you please help me remove the weeds? What is the reason that hold me back from exploring my life and opening up myself to a greater sense of abundance in my life, and stop doing the things that I always do? Can you help me find another opportunities or a pathway for growth in terms of what I do every day? What is my other possibilities in terms of my, we have reaction versus responding. Can I respond versus react instead of reacting for everything that may trigger me because there is underlying trauma, or responding to that scenario and observe myself, being mindful about what's going on internally inside myself? Please help me to notice myself even further. We want to see the stuff that holds us back, the main issue. I would like to know, because I don't know it right now.
Yeah.
Something's holding me back. I don't know what it is. I know something is going on in a specific way, but I would like to be exposed to that part of myself that's holding me back. And let's try and remove those weeds internally, so I at least recognize that part. So the next time that I will go through that interaction, I may recognize it and be able to respond differently rather than being reactive.
Yep.
It's like being a grown-up, an adult. We call it to be responsible, the ability to respond. Responsible. So I'm being responsible for my actions, for who I am, for what I do, for how I'm expressing myself, for my energetic internal power, because we're powerful creatures. So being aware of how I'm using my energy in a aligned way, so it's not dispersing and creating disharmonies in everything that I do. So the ability to respond rather than the ability to react, because reaction many times would be under a trigger. It will be a quick reaction straight away. And then we want to pause, observe the trigger, observe what's going on internally. Take a minute for a second, breathe in, and then, okay, something going on inside me right now. It doesn't feel really nice. What is the other opportunity that I have right now to create a change? So I'm keep questioning myself while I'm going through that process. So questioning is another pathway towards greater sense of mindfulness. So I'm constantly questioning what I'm doing and how I'm doing things. And I'm pausing for a minute and I'm asking myself, wait a second, can I say no to that interaction and pause that here and just pause it for a minute? If someone come in and we have a type of interaction and I have to pause and say, wait a second, let's just pause that here. and see if there is another pathway for a negotiation or a greater sense of awareness, a greater sense for growth here, and be able to push it forward.
You're walking with trauma. So that reaction is a trauma response. And our intention of please help me, please help remove what's in the way of me, my success in business, for example, to really simplify it. What's in the way are all those reactions, all which are triggers, which is trauma that's acting out in your life. And
Mhm.
so when she's clearing what's in the way, she's working on your trauma.
That's
And
right.
that enables you to be more responsible, which means you're living in the present rather than reacting from past.
Perfect. That's it.
So that's, when our intention is, please help me release whatever is in the way of me receiving love or feeling safe
Amazing.
or um, feeling confident or whatever you're wanting, but the contextualizing, framing the intention as removing whatever's in the way of my desire
That's
rather than give me my desire,
that's it.
then she's coming straight into the trauma material, actually, in my experience,
That's it.
and working on that. And then that completely shifts how your perspective and life and your capacity to respond.
I think it's great to keep it simple, short. We don't have to go and tell her the stories of our lives, and the stories already know. That's fine. We can push it aside. But really short, concise intention will give you the general thread of the journey. If we are to summarize this whole thing, we have a general thread, a general direction. We're going to go with that intention. That intention will be the roots that holds you into the ground as we're traveling through those unseen worlds of our subconscious, right? So that's one thing. And then from that intention, we can have like junctions where I can go this way, I can go that way. We can keep going and exploring different facets. Sometimes the intention could be resolved like that. And then we're going to have another issue that may be just under that, and we can keep going exploring that. Sometimes it will just be another point that will lead to another point that will lead to another point. And it's a matter of how much we are able to process in terms of our physical, mental, emotional well-being, how many ceremonies we had beforehand. Every ceremony we come in, we need to have a clear intention, no matter how many times we drank. Every time on the back of our mind, we want to have that we are enhancing the relationship with the medicine. It's another important part, that we want to create that strong relationship. For the first time, many times we're just saying hello, hi, nice to meet you. It's a great honor. I'm amazed. This is just wonderful, So we want to try and create a relationship in the same manner that we don't want. We're not going to expose everything right away, right? And then we're enhancing that relationship with the medicine. So every time we're cultivating that, the deeper the relationship, the deeper the journey. So how do I cultivate the journey? Constant, being in gratitude towards her, appreciation, being curious, being kind to her, and be also fun and explorative. And at the background of this whole thing, the most important thing is have reverence and respect to that spirit, because it's a master of all masters. So that's one of the most important things. So behind the intention, first of all, I'm being in reverence when I'm coming to meet her, because it's not something that I do every day.
I also wanted to talk about how you may think you have an intention, but she actually knows what you need. So,
It's pretty funny like that, isn't she?
or like, I remember that my second ceremony, the first one time, that hello experience was just so incredibly beautiful and wonderful. And the second time I was expecting the same thing. And I think my intention was pretty vague. I wasn't sure about it. And I remember you said, it may not be like the first time, and I had a really difficult experience, and I was just in resistance the whole time. And um, I realized after the ceremony that that's actually my intention was to get away from my problems.
Mm.
And so what I was shown throughout the ceremony is how I'm always trying to get away. And I was really up against that. So she was actually purging and clearing that kind of resistance. That's a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And it was my secret kind of. The secret was I was trying to feel better and get away from something. And so that's what was worked on, and really taught me so much about whatever's happening is being released. So if I'm in a difficulty, well, we're going to talk about purging next time, but
Yeah.
that was a purging of resistance and trying to get, but she knew
Yeah.
better than me
Yeah.
what was really going on.
Yeah.
I learned so much from that that difficult time.
This is a classic example of the fight between the head and the heart. We have our head coming in and give us trouble every day, and we have to deal with that part. It's just like constantly giving us headache, and then we have to recognize and wait a minute, just pause for a minute, let this head go, and then just pause, and what my heart tells me. So this is all about that, really. Fundamentally, it's when the heart is open, the intention is just there, it's just sitting there, clear as a day. There's nothing to think about. That's what I said. That's why I said at the beginning, contemplating.
Mm.
Contemplating. I'm not sitting down. I'm like thinking, oh, I need to think about my intention. Oh, and being like, agitated about it in my head. It's like contemplating is sitting down, watching the sunset, just relaxing with a cup of tea or something, and just pondering, looking at empty space and see what comes up, and just allowing the heart and the mind to intertwine and let things come out for you, pretty much. So I love that in general. A lot of the work that the medicines are doing, really, we want to come down from the kingdom of the mind to the kingdom of the heart, and the heart is the kingdom of heaven, and the holy grail of everything that is everything. So this is like one of the main themes that the plants helping us coming back to, which is amazing. This is the most amazing things that and the gifts that they are offering us.
And then you head off on the journey and you surrender that. You're not like that's the thread, but you're not kind of trying to force anything, because that's sort of the the string of the kite is there whether you see it or not. And sometimes I think you may not think that your intention has been answered until days, weeks, months
Sometimes
after the
years.
ceremony.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
And that string is coming from here. It's not from the head, it's from the heart.
Mm.
That's the string that hold the kites of my intention. When I'm sending it through, it's controlling, it's coming from my heart, because my heart is yearning.
Mm.
It's the deeper sense of, it's not from my head. My heart is yearning for better life. My heart is recognizing that I need to change something in order for me to create growth, which is, the expression of, the soul, really, the deep yearning of the soul for growth, and creating a greater, happier sense of living in this life, in this dimension, in this space.
And I think was the last ceremony I did with you. You kind of gave a framework for a kind of fundamental intention of, please help me connect to my heart. And I think that's a beautiful kind of default, release what's ever in the way of me feeling connected to my heart.
That's almost every time the most amazing intention that you can have,
Mm.
and give us the foundation, because in the heart, it's the original innocence. It's like kids. You look at kids, it's just heart. You don't see anything else. The ego is still not there. The persona is not there. It's just heart. That's what you see. And that's where we want to come back to in our state of awareness and our presence, that making that the fundamental cognition tool that will lead you in your life rather than your head. We want to make the heart the main things that gives you the direction, that gives you uh, the sense of fulfillment in your heart that relates to purpose and all these things in general.
Mm. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Please like and subscribe. There's information below to connect with more information about Michael. And join us next time when we'll be talking about purging, a topic everyone. Thank you. See you then.
Thanks, guys. It was
Thank you.
awesome.
Bye.
Much love.